Hi everyone, it's me Cheryl. I hope you're all alright. I know it's been a long time since my last video and somebody's bound to say, you're back! I haven't gone anywhere, it's just that I've had no content to show you, and I really do feel awful when it's all it is work in progress, and it's something that's going to take a long time, so it's pretty boring seeing the same thing video after video after video. So I needed some other content to show you. There are a couple of finished items, however I don't have one of them with me now. One of them, it was several of them. I spent 2 weekends making some baby hats on the two addies. I really did think that for some reason that the small addie would be fine for a baby size. I realised it was rather small and it's probably either preemie or doll size. Never mind, I did make, it may have been 4 little hats. I am going to insert a video of what I did there here in this video because I didn't have a chance to do a sit down video like this. I just had to show you what I'd done and then give it to my friend who gave it to the various charity. The other hats, the baby hats, I definitely did 4 big ones on the big addies. So they were normal baby size hats. So 2 of them were round with pom-poms and 2 of them were like the square hats with pom-poms, 2 of them. It looks so cute. And then I also did 2 loom knit hats on the 24 peg loom using the tiny heart stitch. So you will see all that in another video clip, which I will insert here now. Alright, so the weekend before last I began working on some hats on the big addy and the little addy. Just using up some yarn that I didn't really have a plan for. So I made several of these really tiny preemie hats on the small addy. And this yarn it's a DK weight yarn, and it was Mariner yarns, and they don't do it anymore. It's called Space, which is such a shame. I just discovered how wonderful it was. It's so beautiful. But anyway, these are just like the long tubes, basically double-sided, except with the pom-pom you can't be double-sided anymore. Then on the big addy, I made 4 larger ones, so there's one and another one. It's lovely, isn't it? And 2 of this type, like this, the square hats. So I should be giving these to my friend who sends a load of stuff off to like somebody else for the charity collection thing. I have no idea where it's going to go exactly, but I'm not going to worry about that. Also on the small 24 peg loom there was a pattern by, I think it's Cardigan Caps, and she used the E-wrap and the tiny heart stitch. That's it. So that was the hat. I double-stranded some DK weight yarn with a blue and white stripe. I'm only using these colours because this is the first thing I grabbed hold of from the box. So I made a pom-pom. I thought, might look better if it's separated. So I did that. I separated them, but I still double-stranded them, but with the same colour. And at least you can see the actual tiny hearts there. And that was just on the 24 peg loom. I mean, I've got more of these yarns. I could do more tiny hats like that. But I might do some in the next size loom up. What's 24 and then it's 31, I think. Might do that, but we'll just see. Well, I just thought I'd show these because I'm going to take these to Knit and Natter tomorrow to my friend, and you're not going to be able to see them in my next video. So if I do that now, you'll be able to see them. So the next finished object, you're going to say, wow, that's taken a long time. My husband's socks. You will have noticed possibly in the last video, I know I showed you my son's socks that I finished, and I may have showed you at the start of these, but I don't know. The second sock took forever, and it was not second sock syndrome. It's because I only worked on these at Knit and Natter, and there were 2 weeks I didn't go. 1 because it was half term and I was looking after CJ. 2 because it was snow. The snow just like brought the country to a screeching halt. and then the 6 different sessions where I worked on my sock minimally because I was teaching 2 different people on 2 different occasions how to make a sock, cuff down sock. So we were doing a mini sock and I was working on it together with them. I was working on one sock to actually show them what to do. I have a hard time telling people what to do verbally. I'd much rather say it like this. But the thing is, the teaching wasn't on par with like the people on YouTube. Some of them were really excellent. And for me, there'd be a lot of and also I don't want to be caught saying, and I know I will because I absolutely hate it and it just goes in my brain. When people say, you kind of do it like this, sort of like this, kind of like this, well, you either do it like that or you don't do it like that. You don't kind of do it like that. And that's one thing that really irritates me. Knowing me, I would actually say it. Drives me bonkers. It's like the word, you know the phrase, literally. I thought I never introduced that into my vocabulary, but remember my Manchester videos with Zoe? I said it a few times. I didn't think it was part of my vocabulary and I was disappointed with myself. Because sometimes it's just totally wrong to say literally all the time. It's not the right time to say it. So I've got some works in progress to show you. And one of them's my son's blanket, so I shall get that. I'm going to show you my son's blanket, but I'm going to show you something else first. Do you remember these socks? Okay, I have enough yarn of the orange and the blue to make 1 extra sock from each colour. But that would make 2 odd socks, and while my youngest son likes wearing odd socks, I thought I'd change things up a bit. I've just done something else, change things up. Change things. That word up is irrelevant. Why put it at the end of a sentence? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so what I thought I would do, so this is the first sock. Orange toe, blue foot, and then when I come to do the heel, it will be in orange. When I come to do the calf, it will be in blue, and when I come to do the cuff, it will be in orange, and vice versa for the second sock. So it will use all the yarn, because like I said, there was enough yarn left over for 1 sock each. But if I mix them up, then he's got a pair of odd socks in the same colours, but transposed. And do you know what? He likes that because he likes odd socks. He does wear odd socks quite deliberately. So this is a pair of odd socks because it's deliberately odd. And I love it. So he's going to get them soon. Now I will show you his blanket so far. There hasn't really been that much progress, and there is a reason why. What am I like? So this is the public side, I think. Yeah, I knitted this one recently, this pink square. And I forgot the stitch pattern, but it's contained within the book called Up, Down and All Around, and I forgot who made it, but who wrote that book. Then again, if you have that book, you'll recognise this square from that pattern, that book. And then, of course, the joining squares. But I've decided, I went through all my scrap yarns again, because I decided, see this one here, this joining square. It was just DK weight yarn, and what happens, I've noticed, it doesn't quite fill the square. It has to be stretched out by other squares around it. So I've decided from here on in, all my joining squares are going to be in the worsted weight yarn, which that one is, and all my other random squares, well, apart from the ones I have to use, it's upstairs. I just brought this bit down. Anything I knit like this or crochet or whatever will be in DK weight, and that kind of even it out, but it's totally random, and that's how it is so far. It's folded over there. So there it is so far. You'll have seen most of that already, and there's still squares to go on there anyway that I've already had. It's just I seem to be doing something else at the moment. I do bits of that as well. But let me show you something else. I was at Knit and Natter and I saw they'd got this new yarn called Serdar Snuggly Patter Cake. It's double knitting yarn, and it's really beautiful. And in it there's actually a blanket pattern, which apparently is corner to corner for knitted. Well, I didn't want to knit it. I was knitting loads of stuff. I wanted to crochet because I hadn't done crochet for a while. And I'm almost finished the the corner to corner blanket, because I always had this idea to do corner to corner, but when I first fancied doing it, I hadn't been crocheting long, so I didn't have that much experience. And I do remember the very first video I was going to follow, or I tried to follow, and I couldn't quite do it then. I wasn't able enough then. It was a Mikey video, but when I went to look for it, I think he's modernised all of his videos, because a lot of his old ones aren't there. I was looking for another video of his once. There's about 2 of them, and they weren't there anymore. But he's like streamlined things down and modernised other videos, and I mean, that's just the evolution of the channel, isn't it? That's understandable. But you know when you're kind of looking for something, you know when you're looking for something and it's not there, I was like, oh, yeah, okay then. I ended up, what does that mean? Oh, I think I know what that means. It's a notification for something. There was a few tutorials which are absolutely fine. But the best one I found for the decreasing was Bella Coco's. I like what she did, where she goes between the spaces rather than in the tops. And I have to make sure I'm loose there, because otherwise it seems to tighten it in the corner. You know the corner here, when you're going back, it seems to pull it in. However, doing it her method, it was much better. So this is it so far. So I'll start, this is my original corner, and it's going to flop over as I go up. There we go. And I'm not quite finished yet, there's only a little bit there. Can you see that? And I've still got, so this is the second skein of yarn. The lady at Knit and Natter said, oh, you only need 1 skein of yarn. I said, yeah, that's for the knit one, use more in crochet. She went, no, you only need 1. I ended up buying another one. So that's what's left so far, but I will be using it to go around the edge, and I'm not sure how to go around the edge yet. Whether to do shells, or whether to do, first of all, like double crochets and then do the front and back post double crochets, or would that be too heavy for this kind of blanket? Would I be better off doing shells? I haven't decided yet. Oh, these loops, by the way, I didn't want to start a new colour in the same block, so that's why there's loops there. I just looped, I did a slip knot in the new colour and just worked it that way. That's why there's loops, and I will sew the ends in. But luckily this skein seems to be a really good one, because the last one had splashes of different colour in, so say for example there's pink here, you'd see blue in there somewhere, or orange, and you'd be like, oh, so I had far more of them in the first half of the blanket to do, and you can't tell because I've sewed them all in. I actually did sew them all in, wow. Apart from them loops there, which from this skein, and it is just the changing colour, so I'm happy about that. So as you can see, it's not going to take me too long to finish that now, before I go around the edge. But I haven't decided how to go around the edge yet. I will get there. And then, let me put this away before I start speaking again. So the next thing I've been doing, I was reading some things about sweater patterns and stuff like that. Because if you remember a few years ago I did some raglan jumpers for my nephews using Cheryl Brunett's Sweater 101, which I found absolutely fantastic. And it was really a schematic on my own gauge, my own measurements. Well, she give you like, in her Sweater 101 book, you've got like all the sizes for men, women, children. So you pick the closest size, because children grow. So the next size up. And then all on my own gauge, whatever my own yarn, whatever, you know, thing I use, medium I use, whether it's needles or machine, it's for both. And it's absolutely fantastic. And I do know that I was reading somewhere, and I can't remember which blog it was on, all patterns should have a schematic, and I thought, I haven't seen schematics in all patterns. I mean, sometimes I've seen like a shape and it's a hat, and you're like, that's kind of pointless, isn't it? You know what a hat looks like. But they were doing the right thing, they were doing a schematic. So, as my attempt to like resurrect unfinished objects and try and finish them off, I thought, oh, I'll have a look at that like jacket pattern I've been doing. And it's, let me read it, it's a Sirdar Denim Tweed DK 8445. So if you want to go and look at the woman, she's pushing a push bike, and it looks like she's wearing a denim jacket, but it's knitted. And I didn't really take that much notice of the jacket. All I saw was my friend came into Knit and Natter with this green jacket. It was actually longer than that one. And I liked the pattern, and she gave me her pattern. And I did it in totally the wrong yarn to begin with. And she said, "Did you do a gauge swatch?" And I said, "No." So then I changed the yarn. And it's only just recently I realised the yarn I got was Aran weight yarn, and that's a DK weight pattern. It's totally wrong yarn for the pattern as well. But, you know. So anyway, I got the pattern out again, and I was looking at it, and there was no schematic, and I thought, that's weird, because Sirdar do schematics, or they generally do. I did look at a booklet I bought upstairs, because I was hoping to make a bigger size. It's crochet tops, several crochet tops. They don't have schematics, so I can't even do that. And I tried to figure out from, say for example, the sizes might went 30, 32, 34, 36. And I thought, oh, okay, that's fine, that's an even number. So I'll look at the stitch counts, and I assume the stitch counts between each one are going to be the same, and they weren't, and then I couldn't figure it out. And there's no schematic, so I'd have to re-study that to be able to figure out a schematic. So then it could be resized. Figure, yeah. But I'm not prepared to do that right now, I'm busy. I'm busy doing this. So anyway, I was thinking I don't want to do that anymore. But I know Sirdar do schematics. So I was looking at cardigan patterns from Sirdar, and I found one. Well, I found several that I liked, and then decided, oh, I settled on one. I bought it from Wool Warehouse, I think, and it was, let me find the number. So it's called Hayfield Bonus Aran Tweed, and it's pattern number 7370, okay? And it's a cardigan. There's two types. There's one with a collar and one without, but they've both got pockets. And it's cables, and yeah, that's really good. And at least it's the same weight yarn that I was looking at, and they have schematics as well. So I was studying. I studied that pattern for about 3 or 4 weeks, just going through line by line, studying, look at the sizes, and I did find 4 errors in the pattern, and I will write to them about it. Because one of them is on the Irish moss stitch. So if you look on the back, you have the right side, yeah, and the left side, which is really the back of the person. The back of the person, their right side and their left side. And on rows 2, 14 and 16, the Irish moss stitch doesn't make sense. But everywhere else, if you compare it with the left side, it's like a mirror image. And that confirms that rows 2, 14 and 16 are wrong on the right hand side. Now it's fine on the Irish moss stitch does follow a proper pattern on the left front, the right front and the sleeves. They're totally fine there. Do you have the Irish moss stitch on the sleeves? I can't remember. But I do remember on, I think it's the left front. I think they did that one first. There is an error in the number of stitches for a segment of something. A segment, that's not very helpful, is it? No, hang on, I've been highlighting this. Left front. Pretty sure it's left front. How far down does it go? Can't be left front. No, it is. Yeah. Hang on. Maybe it's the right front. Maybe it's the sleeve. No, it can't be the sleeve. It's not the sleeve. I wrote myself a note. Where's it gone? I like it when you can highlight PDFs and then write notes on them as well. What's this? What's that note there? Oh, so there's 5 errors, because it says, we're still on the left front there, and it goes, here it says, pattern to the last 3 stitches, purl 2 together through the back loop, but then what happens to the last stitch? So there's one thing there, I figured it out, it's purl. So there's that error there. Ah, so it must be on the back then. It is on the back, there it is. On the back, on row 6, there's a block of stitches. You have to do a certain particular thing so many times for your size, right? and it looks like they've got an extra number. Yeah, it's normally, let me have a look, 3, 6, 7. So looking at all the sizes, normally it's like 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14. And on this one, out of nowhere, because it doesn't say anywhere else, it's 3, 6, 7, oh, you're in the way, 11, 12, 14. So on sizes 4 and 5, it's totally wrong. It's got an extra stitch by mistake. Now I was able to spot that. Ringing in my ears. So that's the 3 errors for the Irish moss stitch, and it's the 2, so 5 errors in total. And that's because I really studied that pattern. But I'm working on it now, actually, after all that. Yeah, I am going to write to them, tell them about that. But luckily, oh yeah, the reason why I knew it was the Irish moss stitch was a problem, I charted it. I was sat there, that's what took me so long, studying the pattern. I was charting it and I spotted it because it was a visual. Okay, so I'm working on the back here. I'm a big person, you know, so it can take up a lot of the screen. So that's it so far. That's alright there, isn't it? So I'm really chuffed with that. I've done 1, 2, 3 pattern repeats, and I think I do 5 before starting the armhole shaving. Armhole shaving. Do you think I need to do something, some personal care items? Armhole shaping. What is wrong with me? Oh my goodness. Anyway, armhole shaping, I think it's 5 pattern repeats. Where's my chart? I've charted it. Armhole shaving. I don't want that one open. I really tickled myself doing that, you know, that was so funny. I have to pay for the computer. Opening the wrong program. I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. I'll be shutting that straight back down. Oh, and something I did randomly last night. Oh, unfortunately, I can't actually show you it. Oh, I can. I've got to fit a picture. I used this yarn. I was actually halfway through making a square for Andy's blanket, but I frogged it all out. Because CJ's lost one of his things off the side of his wheelchair, his covers that I've made on the sewing machine. Oh, I'm very, very, very basic on the sewing machine. And basically I followed the line of the armrest on the wheelchair, it's a mirror image, added a bit and then added a bit more for like the seam, but I couldn't figure out how to go around corners when it's a rounded end, and I was looking at things on YouTube how to make an ironing board cover because that was the nearest thing I wanted to do, but just smaller scale. So I ended up eventually squaring the whole thing off, which was okay, except I still have difficulty like sewing the end. I need to make a seam where I could sew elastic inside, I could pass elastic inside, and I don't know how to go around the corners. Like, I know how to go around the corner on a sewing machine, but I don't know how to prepare the corner so it's not bulky in the corner, if you know what I mean. I don't have that experience. I found a video recently that's done it, but I really can't. It's getting the machine out, and I can't seem to use my sewing machine with my contact lenses because they're mainly for distance, so closer up it's okay. But it's also a light thing because I don't feel like I have enough light. Even though I'm right near a window here. And then there's the other thing, if I wear my glasses then I've got the same problem. So I am getting a prescription of varifocals, and hopefully maybe that'll be a bit easier for me to explore the sewing machine again, but not on any serious level, just basic stuff. But anyway, yeah, because of my lack of experience of making these arm things, I mean I've got enough fabric to do it, but it's, oh, do I have to get the sewing machine out again? And I remember a while ago JC said, why don't you just crochet something? And I went, oh, that's a good idea. But I wanted to do it from the bottom where it comes, when I looked at how to do cell phone cover, people are doing a long chain to go around the whole device. Okay, let's just pretend that's a cell phone. Around the whole device, work up there and sew it on the bottom. I didn't want to sew it on the bottom. I wanted to make the little thing on the bottom, expand it, and then it goes up both sides, so it's all in one. Anyway, I managed to figure it out. I know exactly how many chains to start, because you have to do a little bit less to go up. And then you increase on the either end, don't you? You increase for a little bit until it's sufficient to go up the rest of it, and then you just don't increase anymore on these ends. And that's what I did. And it looks okay, so I'm going to do another one. Oh yeah, and I sewed a button on it, and that I did a chain, a long chain, so the button's nowhere near where CJ can play with, so he's not a monkey because he just picks at it. And all the foam on the side of the arm things, it disintegrates because he's picking at it, and you're like, stop picking at it. So he can really destroy his arm things. He can destroy a lot of things just because he can. But anyway, I've done that, and I can show you the picture, and I'll just do another one. Yeah, what I did, I went 14 centimetres up in the round, and then because there was like where the armrest goes into the wheelchair, I couldn't complete the round, so I left about 2 stitches, and I went back and forth until 20 centimetres, because that was the end of it, and that's where I stopped. And because of the gap, I went around single crochet all around the gap, and then I put a button on one end and a chain on the other, just long enough to hook around the button, and it's fine. And I'm quite proud of what I did, and that was just last night, just like that. Anyway, I'm going to do another one. This yarn's trailing. Anyway, so that's it. That's my video, and I think it's much longer than I anticipated. But anyway, you've earned it though, haven't you? You've been waiting really patiently, and I do appreciate it. And yeah, it's taken a long time, but I like things to show you, you know what I mean? I don't want to show you work in progress and something that's going to take a long time, because it gets boring seeing that, you know, time after time after time. And you're like, yeah, I didn't really notice that much progress, really, to be honest with you. Yeah, you only put one square on there. And it's not very interesting, really, is it? So that's it for this time, and I will see you next time with hopefully some more finished objects really soon. Alright, take care everyone. Bye bye.